Salutations, Humbert here. It's been a while since we last posted any type of videos because this season has been difficult and we've been going through a lot of personal issues. That said, the world in and of itself is struggling right now. So everybody's in a mad amount of turmoil. And the hardest thing to do is to remain in good faith in how you treat others and how you take care of the things around you. For us, being multiple means that we have to define things in a different sort of way. We're, constantly adapting to situations because, well, that's part of the dynamics of being multiple personality. In talking to a counselor on a regular basis, it is defined that it is a betterment to us to do things like, the videos. But this not only helps us, but it helps others. Being a traumagenic system is a struggle. And it means that when one cannot handle what's currently going on, then the person within the headspace, whoever is best suited for it, is the one that comes to the surface and deals with the situation. Back in February, we had a very, very hard shattering, which meant, for lack of a better way to put it, several other people fell out of our headspace. And that also meant that ones that had not, shall we say, been on the surface very much, found their way to the surface a lot more often. It meant that we also had to rebuild a lot of things. And I personally am one of the builders inside the headspace. And there was a lot of having to go from ground up. We have what's considered a central core room, control room, so to speak, where whoever's up or whoever is working in tandem with another one goes and they work in the control room. Well, the shattering took that control room completely out because when the shattering hit, it hit at ground zero and bubbled out just a little bit and then sucked in and exploded at that point outward. So the couple of us that had been in the control room at the time took the hardest hits from the shattering of the control room inside the cerebral cortex. I was one of the lucky people in there at the time, as was Jareth and Lunaire. We were in transition from one person to another, literally slipping past each other at the time because we were dealing with a situation that required more than one person on the surface because the tactics that were being used by each person were not working. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes a switch can happen right in the middle of like a conversation. Like we were having a conversation with the oldest child who has been in videos with us here before. And literally, one of us walked into the bathroom, was having a conversation with her. Upon stepping back out of the bathroom, another person was talking to her. And it's disorientating. Not necessarily for us, because we are used to taking the baton for the next person, but it is disorientating for the person who's on the outside looking in. Since the shattering, there's been a lot of dysphoria, and it's been a struggle to try to define ourselves and redefine ourselves, because in rebuilding we have learned that everything that we built up on wasn't there to work with anymore. So in turn, we had to rebuild on what we currently know. Now, because of the headaches and in some cases, nosebleeds that come before the headaches and sometimes afterwards, there's a lot of neurological pain and affects the body physically. And so a lot of memories got swept under the rug. It's not that they're not there, it's just that they're not accessible. So it meant that, we had short-term accessibilities, but we didn't have long-term accessibilities. And that too in and of itself is complex, because when people come to talk to us, they would be like, well, you remember such and such happening, and we would be like, no. And for a long while after that, the trigger, the fracturing, we were not able to communicate with each other. It was just nothing but a gray fog between all of us. And we had to create, like a better way to put it. JJ plays a game called Minecraft. And in Minecraft, you have a beacon. And if you get the right components together, you can make the beacon light up. We had to get the right components together, the right combination of people here together, in order to get our beacon to light up, to be able to turn the fog out. It was not the easiest of things to do, but it is now sustainable. And I personally have been slowly rebuilding the center station, where the control room, because it is a necessity for all of us to function, frankly. And then we had to redo our own spaces, because those two had been decimated. I mean, there's a book series that I'm rather fond of. It's called the City of Humbert series, and it's fantastic. But in People of Sparks, one of the characters goes and sees a decimated city. I would say that after our shattering, we dealt with being in a decimated city. Like, as far as the eye could see, as far as the brain could feel, everything was shattered. So rebuilding is taking time. And, if it was so easy as being able to take the mind and just summon something rising from the ground, it'd be done within a matter of minutes. It is not that easy, because we've changed so much since we all came into being, surfaced, came from the outside in. Some of us are from the outside in. I am from the outside in. Jareth is from the outside in. Lunaire is partly outside, partly inside. It's like a interesting blend of both. The ones that are inside are very much like, if you've ever heard of the Hebrew golems, the clay folk that are created and life is breathed into. It's very much like what a split that happens inside the mind, that then takes its own form, its own personality, its own shape, its own being. These are very much like golems that have been given life. So each of us have our own specific reasons for being around. Each of us have our own reasons, have our own duties, our own jobs, our own capabilities. It isn't that the person, this core, doesn't have the capabilities, but it is because of the shattering that all of those sequencings have been split amongst the community people. And so we do our best to maintain the core, keep it healthy, keep it going, feed it, make sure it gets rest, make sure that it's taking care of all the things that are required. And again, the human mind is a fantastic yet exceedingly fragile thing. So we try very hard to keep it maintained and healthy. Yeah. So this is just how things particularly have gone in the last while, and why, sadly, we have not been able to give any updates. But I'd like to thank you all for joining in, and you know, I hope you get the chance to see the next video for whoever's out and is able to do it. Thank you all for your time and your support.